Generic greetings and welcome to Hardspace Shipbreaker. Today's beverage is a nice glass of cranberry juice with a couple of lime wedges in, because quite frankly, when you are in space and have to pay for your own oxygen, well, now and again you just have to treat yourself. This is a game where you are a cutter and you have to take apart spaceships, and the problem with that is you have a lot of high-powered lasers and there's also reactors hidden inside the ship, so you have to take a look at the overall plans of the ship and the different components and slice different bits off and recycle them using various techniques. It's a game I played for about 2 and a bit hours now, so first impressions only, and also it is in early access, so obviously there's more ships to be added, campaign to be expanded upon, that sort of thing. As always, links in the description so you can check all of those minute details out yourself, but I'm just going to show you a bit of the moment to moment of the game. So I am rank 4, which is beginner. We have a very large debt, which I think is just a temporary sort of goal at the moment, although that may change that, and we also have some points which we can use to unlock different equipment and research and that sort of thing. In terms of certification, as I said, I've played about 2.5 hours, so my certification is rank 4, and the certification dictates the type of equipment you can get, as well as the upgrades and also the ships that you can take apart. So we're going to go to Start New Shift, and we're going to go to the ship catalogue, and this shows all of the type of ships that we can take apart. So I've got grade 1, grade 2, and then, well, I haven't got grade 3 yet, so grade 2. So we have 4 ships here to take apart. They also have a number of days that we have to work on them, so we're probably going to go with this third day one to give us the most time. It has a difficulty there. It shows you the type of ship that it is. So we've got, for example, there's the, what's this one? This is the station hopper, light cargo, and light cargo, and also shows you the type of core systems that are in there. So we've got a class 1 reactor, we've got a power cell, and we've got some thrusters, and you can see overall hazards chance, so a chance of fire a lot, explosive quite a bit, and also the resources that you can find on there. As I said, because this is grade 2, there's not a huge amount here, but I think we'll probably go with, which one do we want to go with? Probably the 3-day one, because as I said, that'll give us the most time. So we'll actually check that one out, and then we will say yes, and then we will load in and we'll be able to check this thing out. So as I said, the objective is to salvage the ship.
Just a little history lesson for you. The entire macro class was decommissioned once they juiced the force of the rail gates. LYNX scooped up thousands of them on the cheap. Now finish up your work order and salvage as much as you can of each ship before moving on to the next. We call it using the whole buffalo. You want to pay off that mountain of debt you're carrying on your back. That's how it's done. Weaver out.
Thanks, Weaver. So Weaver has told us to take apart this ship and give us a little bit of an explanation on what the deal is with this class of ship. In terms of UI, we've got tether shown on the top left. That is used to drag things from one place to another. Overall timer left on the right there. We can open our work order and see the sort of things we have to do. And then we have in the sort of center bottom there our thruster power, our health, and our O2, which is actually going down quite a lot. So we need to salvage according to our work order. Let's just see if I can get this in a better position so you can see it. There's no real good way. That's probably about as good as we're going to get. Salvage a class 1 reactor. We need to do one of those. Salvage a power cell, one of those. Salvage nanocarbon, which is just basically the hull in different parts of the ship, and then salvage metal as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to firstly check out the, well, what I'll do is I'll get the grabber out. Let's just see, or actually already on the grabber. The equipment that I have is currently the grappler and the cutter, and there's many different modes for the cutter, but the grabber, you can sort of hover over certain things and you can then sort of grab it off there and then move it around, and it tells you at the bottom where you need to put it. So this is the barge, so the barge is down there, so I'm going to go to this location and then press F, and that just sends it over there, and then we recycle it. Excellent. Let's do the same for this thing here, and everything that we salvage we will get a bonus at the end of it, so let's send that over there as well. And we've also got these nacelles, so we don't necessarily need to cut them off, but I am going to cut them off to show you just what you need to do. So you can see in there, or maybe you can't because it's quite dark. Can I turn on my suit light? Yes, I have a suit light. You can see there's like an orange and black sort of part there, and that's actually a cutting point. If I press T, I open up the, ooh, good grief, I think we're close to the reactor, which is why this is all a little bit glitchy. So we can see that this is a bright yellow colour, which is actually a cut point. The orange is structural, which you can't cut through. The blue is heavy panel, which I don't think you can cut to either. Maybe there's changes later on in the game with different equipment, I'm not too sure. But there's a light panel as well, so light panels tend to be on the inside. Either way, that is a cut point, so I'm going to turn that off, and I'm going to change to my cutter. Now we have the horizontal and vertical cutter, and then we have basically a direct laser cutter, which I'm going to use, and that will then cut off the nacelle. And there we go, that will now drift. We can click and drag and move it around. It says it needs to go to the barge, so I will try to drag it down the barge. I will use the sort of push thing here and just sort of go and try to drag it down there, and that should be done about right. Excellent. So that's sorted, and I'll do the same on this side, basically because it's getting rid of a lot of mass of the ship straight away. So it's probably an easy thing to crack on and do. So that one is removed, job done, and then we're going to get our grappler. This time, instead of using the grappler to sort of pull it and move it around like that, I'm going to use the tether. So I hold right click, and then I attach a tether to there, then right click there, and then job done. So you hold onto one and then release on the other, and it basically gets a tether, and you can see it pulls a lot faster, and there we go, that's now going there. But sadly that does use up our tethers, which the maximum at the moment, but you can upgrade this and change it, is currently 10. So we have salvaged the nacelles off that side, so we want to take a look on the inside. If we press the T, we can see that we have different structural parts on there, and we also have here an airlock. So we're going to go over to the airlock, and we will cycle that, so getting up close to it, and then F to do that, and we will open that up.
Airlock pressure levels dropping.
There we go, and then we'll cycle the airlock here. Now, to answer probably the inevitable question on what you're maybe thinking, can you just cut into the airlock? Yes, you can, and that will really, really do you in. You will get explosive decompression. It's not fun to experience. Okay. We've also got parts in here, and these are used to repair our parts and our equipment. That is a, what's that, a Nova fuel. What's my fuel? My fuel is currently 93, so I don't need that. Our reactor is at the back there, and we also have bits down the bottom. Now, at the moment, this is blue, so that denotes that this is actually pressurized, which at the moment is not good. Let's see if I can... Do I need to cycle this? Oh, that's the wrong button. I actually pressed the button to to push things. So there we go. And this is our front cockpit here. And what's this? It's a data drive. I will pick that up there, and we can see that is on as blue. So I'm going to actually turn that off. So what that's going to do is, oh, there we go. That's actually sucking all of the air out of this area. So this is now depressurized. So that's fine. We have got a spacesuit, but we also have through this door that should be pressurized. So if I press this, it's going to suck all of the oxygen in here, and then that will, as I said, decompress things. Now, I did that on purpose. What I could have done is decompress this area and then decompress that area, but I wanted to show you the physics involved and what can happen there. But now the ship is fully depressurized, which means I can start to take things out. So what I want to do is turn on our panel, sort of see-through panel view thing, and we can see that there's some cut points on the bottom of this panel. So this panel here, if we go to our cutter, it should be cuttable. Yes, it is cuttable, so I can say change to that mode, that one there, and I can say cut a slice out of this panel if I wanted to. So I can cut there, and then I can cut, say, along there, and that cuts that panel out. So I actually cut a bit of the floor out like that, and that'll start floating around. Destroyed panel titanium. Not too sure why that was destroyed. Either way, we've cut that up. I didn't need to do that, but you can see we've now cut that smaller panel, and it will move if I cut the other side of it. Let's just do that side there, and then that side there. So you can see it is all...
Your oxygen reserves are dropping below statistically profitable levels.
Right, oxygen's getting low, and I'm looking around to see if there's any oxygen tanks, and I'm not seeing any because I think that is just fuel. That is... Yeah, that is sadly just fuel. So I'm going to have to quickly get myself out. So cycle this airlock here, and it should just open. It shouldn't...
Airlock pressure levels increasing.
Oh no, it is actually cycling it for some reason. Can we get out, please? Because I'm about to die. There we go. What I'm going to do is head back over here, and I'll get my oxygen back. As I said, you have to pay for your own oxygen, which is an interesting choice. It has that whole theme running through with the corporation, the LYNX Corporation, I believe, sort of treating you like, yeah, like, well, you are a clone, I believe. Anyway, oxygen generator, and we're going to get some oxygen, so that's fine. So, got some oxygen, and you can increase your suit capacity and such if you do so desire, and that's probably one of the next things I'm going to upgrade. Anyway, back over to the ship. So I've cut a little bit of a section off there, which is okay. We'll be able to fly inside here, and good grief, that's a lot of speed, but you can see both these doors are now open. Anyway, so I'm going to go to my cutting tool and the direct cutting feature, and then I'm going to cut that section off there, and then I'm going to cut this section off from this side, and then that should drop the panel out the bottom over the grabber tool and then push this down, and there you go, that is now moving down. But obviously this is made of a couple of panels. It's made of the light panels and also the other heavier ones as well. So I'm going to send that over to that bit, and then this one, it says it wants to go to the processor. Now they might actually have parts like this one here, for example. Yeah, that actually requires, that wants to go in the furnace, but that one goes in the processor. So yes, you are better off salvaging it separately like that, and you will gain more profit. The problem with that is obviously you are then having to do all of this individually, which can be a little bit of a problem. You can, if you want to, is that the processor? Yeah, you can, if you want to, just sort of do the maths and go, well, actually the average is this, and then do whatever you need to do there. I'm going to, like I say, just send this over. Why is that not off? I would have thought that would have been off. So let's see if I can cut that. Yeah, there we go. So I've managed to cut that off. So send that over there and send that over there. You might notice I am floating around. I know that sounds like a bit of a redundant statement, but what I mean is, as I'm pushing things, you do get equal and opposite reaction and stuff. Obviously you have thrusters in order to prevent that, but you can rotate, go up and down, that sort of thing. The controls themselves, they are listed on the control scheme, but I don't think you can change it, which is a shame, because there's a couple of things that I don't like. Like, for example, control, if you press and hold that, it basically locks you in position. It's your brake. I would much prefer that to be space and control to be going down, but alas, it is not. Anyway, so we've got a couple more sections here. What I tend to do is to drop the bottom of these ships out, because it's only a couple of cut points like that, and that will allow me to then get access to the back bit here, which you can see the reactor is in there as well. This is also a what's this? Is this a little bit of, that's a bit of baggage there. If I take the baggage off, deposit that salvage there, and as I said, this one here, it says all processable. Let me just tether it to there, and that will send it over there. Not bad. Okay, and we're gonna see if we can sneak in here, and we might be able to get a good cut here. Yeah, we can get a cut there, and we'll go over to here. Down. Nope, that's the wrong button. Down. Down. And there we go. That's now down as well. Good. And let's go and put that.
Alright, Cutter, you got 5 minutes left of this shift.
5 minutes left.
Turn the lights out on you.
So 5 minutes left of the shift.
We wrap.
And there goes the part. Looks like I've accidentally tethered one section to it, but no matter. So that's going to process that. We might get a negative. No, we didn't. And, that was salvage metal completed. So we still need to salvage nanocarbon, a power cell, and the reactor. So I'm going to get the reactor out of the way because, well, you'll see what happens when we pull the reactor. So we pull that out, and it basically gets a cooldown where it's going to arc and spark and go all over the place, and you really don't want that. And if you get too close, you'll get hit by stuff, and if you cut into it, it just goes full Chernobyl. So you really don't want that. You can see it's arcing and sparking all over the place. But if we salvage it, that is now sort of danger level done. I assume that later on you'll have multiple reactors in ships, and that is actually... Does that hit that? Come on. There we go. Done. So, bit of a hairy one, but we have removed the reactor from this ship. That is exactly what we wanted. Right, we've also got other smaller pieces. So for example, like this power junction box, we can remove that, and again this will spark all over the place, so you definitely want to get that out of the way. We've also got like the oxygen, so the atmosphere regulator. Oh, good grief, it looks like I've accidentally put that in the airlock. Didn't exactly want to do that. But there's a lot of little details that you may accidentally miss, like for example these lights. You can remove these little button lights and put them over there, same as like the airlock controls and stuff. So all of these are salvageable, so the ships are very much modular. And what's happened over there, that looks to be, I think because that thing was all arcing and sparking, it's done some damage to this little bit of cargo. I found that it's quite difficult at times to drag things towards and away from you. You have to use your own suit momentum in order to do that, and I think oh darn it, looks like the cargo has been lost there. Anyway, it would be nice if you could like use a like scroll wheel to sort of bring it towards you, and maybe that is an upgrade in the future. I would not be surprised if it is. Anyway, so we're going to remove lots of sections in there. That is fine. Where is... Oh, there it is. This is the atmospheric regulator, which we will send over there. In terms of salvage, we have a power cell to salvage and nanocarbon. I also am definitely trying to go for the next level in rating, which means I have to salvage different furniture, which I think these seats class as furniture. I think most people would most people would say that yes, they do. But anyway, let's bring that back out there and put that down there, and that should be about right. So you can see we're salvaging all of the important bits at the moment, and naturally you'll have, well, it looks like oxygen, suit oxygen is critical. Yeah, naturally you'll have different ways and means of salvaging the parts, oh good grief, and your own different flavours and ways of doing it. Like you could cut the ship up into different parts, and then once the ship is cut into different parts, you can then move it and shift it elsewhere, and ow, 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 that's not good.
Note that excess electrical damage has been found to negatively impact long-term job satisfaction.
So we've been electrocuted because I got too close to the Arcan and Sparky bits, and it's also made a radio malfunction, which I find quite amusing. And yeah, because of that, I've taken in a health pack there. Okay, so I'm going to head back to the station because I've only got one oxygen, and I hope I'll be able to get back in time. And we're heading back. We should have just enough time to get back. I didn't want to fill up my suit because, quite frankly, we've already got enough oxygen. I think I have enough oxygen to get back. It costs me money, so doing that means that I can come back out. Even though I've taken some health damage, I've still got packs on there. So this is our salvage summary for the work day. Nice beverage, and we have gained just over 1 million, so you can see all of the positives there, which is fairly good, and obviously some of the negatives. So we've destroyed a food pack, so it says value destroyed, so I don't think you get any minuses off it by the look of it. It's just you don't get that money, which is a shame. Anyway, we will complete that shift and we'll see if we've got any points. We have got some more points. We're on to 140 of these points, and you can see all of the fees that we have accrued for just being here. Basically, we've lost half of our money for just being here because we've rented loads of stuff, which is a thing. Anyway, let's go over to equipment and to helmet and upgrade, and I want to upgrade to have extra O2 capacity, but sadly it costs 175 points instead of and I've only got 140. In terms of other upgrades, you've got your cutter, so you've got things like heat capacity, cooldown, watches. It doesn't tell you exactly what a lot of that one is. We've got grapple systems. Obviously you have to repair them as well, which I'm not a fan as a rule of anything like that. I'm not a fan in. Has that thing tipped over? I think it has. Sorry, I digress. Yes, I'm not a big fan of any system that is like a durability. I'm just not a big fan of it. This cargo hatch is interesting, and it might be something I can remove. Let's have a quick look, and it doesn't really show as anything, so can I cut it? I cannot cut it. Okay, fair enough. But we also have a big hole in the bottom now, and we should be able to continue on salvaging the ship. So in terms of objectives, we have salvage a power cell, we don't know where one is, and salvage nanocarbon. So if I look over, well, if we go here and stop, we can see that if I go to T, we can see where things are, and I'm looking around, I'm seeing different things. Now there is something behind there, right? Nanocarbon, but we can see like different symbols behind things. Like you can see like a wireframe of something back there, and normally, like that there, if I turn that off, we have got a system here. So that is an atmospheric regulator. So where things were, you'll have stuff behind it as well. So let me just get rid of that. And what I want to do is I want to cut this panel out and see what was behind there. So in order to do that, I'll have to rip out a lot of this furniture. I wonder if I can take the window out and just push it out the front. That might be an idea. Well, it's certainly an idea. I don't know if it's a good one or not. What's this here? That is a... It is a health pack, is it? I have no idea. It says for the furnace, so... Send it! Oh, send it. There we are. Let's go to cutter, and yes we can. We can cut the window out. So. Bottom. Trying to be precise as I can. And then... see about there. And there. And this side. And there we go, the window's out. There we go, we've cut the window out. And that is for the furnace. So we will push it over there and just use the tether there. And we can see we have left different bits there. So it is all like dynamically calculated as far as I'm aware. But now it should mean we can take the stuff out the front, which is a lot easier. Okay, good. I can come back here. And I can go down there. And we need this bit out, and then we can get on with the work. It seems when you're trying to grapple there, you're not able to like slow down. It's a bit weird, which means you can start drifting further. I can imagine some people finding the floaty nature of the game difficult, but I've not had any great issue with it. Like I said, apart from the lack of controls I would like to customise. But I would assume that would appear in the future. And let's just turn on this. There is something behind that. See, there's something there? That wireframe? So let's cut into this. Let's get rid of that. And down there. So, we're going to cut a hole in this panel and see what that is. So turn that on. So we don't want to cut into it, because I don't know what it is. It is... what is that? A coolant tank. Okay. So I'll take the coolant tank. And... come on! Come on! Yeah, okay. And that is for the barge. But you can see we've lost that other piece now. It's somewhere trapped inside the hole. That's actually a very big coolant tank. I don't know if I'll be able to get it out of the front window. Oh, yeah, it looks like we've just managed to scrape it out the front. Okay, so that has been taken out. But we've also got a coolant tank on this side. So I wonder what would happen if we accidentally did this. And there's the other coolant tank there. But what happens if I did this? You can see it blows up, radio malfunction, and freezes things. So you got all of like the frost all over there, which is really cool. And this is the only way, as far as I can tell, to turn the radio on, which I think is quite an extreme way of changing stations, blowing up coolant tanks, but you know, what do I know? And there we go, bang that, and we're back to normal. Right, so over to this salvaging. So we're still needing to salvage just general metal and parts, I believe. Nanocarbon and a power cell. So we're looking for a power cell, which if we have a quick look around, we can see there is something in the back here, left and right. Those, now from experience, I'm sure those are like
your oxygen reserves
gas. Oh, good.
Note that excess carbon dioxide can cause damage to LYNX.
I'm sure those are like gas tanks of some kind, or fuel tanks. So it's the power cell that we're looking for. I think our best option is to take all of the sides off, and we'll be able to see where everything is, because we're going to have to salvage some stuff anyway. So over to this panel, and we'll say oxygen, and then back.
Oxygen levels stabilizing.
So where's the best way to cut this off? See, this is only the second time I've actually had this ship, and already I can tell that cutting the front off here is certainly the way to go. For the way I'm taking stuff apart, because it means that I can simply get into the front very, very quickly instead of having to like maneuver underneath and all that sort of thing. So I'm just taking out all of these cut points here, which means the side should then float off. Is it floating off? It is floating off. Not very fast. There we go, it's now floating off. And the question is, do I need to tether this off? Let's see if I can get through here. There we go. Okay, so this is for processing, so we might as well send it to processing, and we'll see a huge part of the ship There's a huge part of the ship heading over there, and this one is for the furnace, so we'll just send that over there manually. I like the way that they are designed, so they've got these sloped sides, so you don't have to just get it in there. Ideally, you can just, you know, lob it over there. Right, I've lost myself. Right, there we go. So, I mean, we can take like even these individual lights and stuff. We can take off like that, which is, like I say, I like that attention to detail. But I'm still not finding.
Salvage
It
secured.
says there's a component in here, and I would assume it's part of the airlock system. Okay, I think we can get in there. Okay. 1, 2. Rotate that. 3. Don't think I cut that last bit. There, and then cut it in half. Make it easier for ourselves. No, that is the outside of the ship. What's that for? Furnace. It's a huge chunk of metal, that one. So, let's work the other way. Let's get rid of that. It's down there, roughly. And one there. One there. And you see it's kicking back as we do this. And that panel should be loose now. It is, but if we just cut it in half again, it's just much easier. He says, after it not working. And there's another section cut. I can see inside it, there's obviously some piece that's attached still. There we go. And bring that back there. Ah, there we go. There is a tank of some kind. It is a fuel tank. Right, so I found fuel tanks, and I found lots of parts here. Lots of scrap, should I say. But still not found. That went nowhere near where I wanted it to go. There we go. It's got quite a long range, that thing, so it's very forgivable. And all this is not wasted because we are getting money for doing this, so yeah, it's important. I like the way it cuts at an angle as well. See that? So it actually cut at the angle that we were at, which is fairly cool. Oh, you see what goes red? We are stressing the thing. Okay, let's go in this side then. Let's see if we can get... Actually, you know what I might do? I might get rid of this back.
Raw material processed. Credits deposited.
Cut all this up. You also have a heat thing on the right hand side. You can see the heat going up there, so you can overheat this. There's that panel going. It says processor, but I know that section there, if I pull that light out, there we go. So I can process this. Let's process there. That goes down there. So I've got one more part to cut. That should be the back. Ah, what's that in there? Class 1 thruster. Ah, so you can remove it. But I don't know if this is still attached to the ship. Doesn't seem to be. Whoa! Yes, it is attached. So you saw there, hit it, and I got blasted right back because that's just not moving at all. There'll be other parts I need to cut. Okay, let's get inside here. Actually, we'll get inside this one. So line it up and cut. Cut. Right click to turn it round. I think I might have missed that, but we'll try again in a second. And then cut. No, that's okay. And then I'm going to cut it diagonally.
Asphyxiation can lead to missed salvage quotas.
So, bit of oxygen, and then we'll go back to see what's in there. But the only thing we've got left to do, for the work order at least, is to salvage that panel. We can continue if we wish to salvage the rest of the ship. That's not a problem. You can salvage it basically down to the last nut and bolt, and you'll gain money for it. But I think there'll be a time when essentially you are fighting against... It becomes no longer profitable to continue salvaging certain parts. Like, you want to get all of the main stuff out, and then you sort of probably forget a lot of what's there. So we've got into this side bit, and aha! That's what we were looking for. So that, as far as I can tell, is... Yes, it is a power cell. Now, does that show here? It does show only just on that side, so it's very, very faint. So, yeah, and also because that pack was there, it was a bit more difficult to see it. But that is a power cell. Now, I have a feeling that that thing will start arcing and sparking if I cut into it. And obviously, if I hit it as well, then that also does make a big bang. So I want to take a lot of care that I don't hit that. So there's that panel, I think, removed. There's that panel removed, yeah. I'll take that out to salvage that. This section I will grapple and send that over there with the tether. This I will... Oh, actually, I'll pull back because I don't know if it's going to do something. Oh, you see all them lights are red for some reason? Wonder if it's going to go... Yeah, that's salvage, and then all the lights are red. But at least you can take all the lights off. As I said, there's loads of little details there. That's gone over there. And that is technically me done in this ship. Like, we can, if we wish to, complete the work order and say, look, we're now done. And that's pretty much what I will do. Let's go back to that. Is that going to move? No, no, still one section here. Stop. Cut that off. And... No? No, that's still attached to something. Have I missed a cut? Or is it that? If you hit on, like, anything that you can't cut, you can see it just refracts all of the laser shots. Oh, taking the roof off now. But you can see just how easy it is to take the ship apart. I mean, we can even cut the entire front off if we wanted to, but I don't think I will do that. Either way, that is the work order for this thing complete. That is the work order complete. Or we can press we can press X to basically grab on to parts of the hull and stuff, so it saves you using your thrusters. But yeah, that is our ship that's pretty much needs to... I mean, we need to finalize some things, so that there's a processor. We'll send that over there. The whole back end, it does look like to be... I think it is detached now, so if we go there to there, that should be the entire rear section. Yes. That is the entire rear end and thruster assembly moving there. However, I didn't take the thruster assembly out the back, so I will suffer a negative for that. I'm just hoping that that gets there in time, because as you can see, we've only got 11 seconds shown on the top right there. So push, push, push. Come on, come on. We're not going to get it. We're not going to get it. That's a shame. If we got it in time, then we would be able to get some money off there. But there is the money that we made. So a lot less than yesterday, because we'd salvaged most of the valuable stuff, including the reactor and the chairs and all the control surfaces on the first day, whereas the second day it was just basically, as you can see, loads of... I mean, we've got panels and stuff, which was cool, but it was just basically, you know, glass and just random structural pieces and a couple of valuable bits, but nothing major. Anyway, we will complete our shift there, and I think we will leave it there. That is a little bit of a Shipbreaker, and you can see that I've made almost no money. So if I wanted, I could go back and start the shift and continue that salvage. I'm not going to, because we've technically completed the work order. We can move on to the next ship. Instead, what I'll do is go to equipment and then to helmet, and then I will upgrade to have the bigger O2 capacity tank, because quite frankly I was sick and going back and forward. And you can see the cutter is damaged, so I can say F for repair, and I will use a repair kit. So you find things inside of the ships. I found a couple of keys, I found some repair kits and that sort of thing. Obviously, you've also got oxygen tanks, thrusters, etc., etc. So it is good to explore those. But yeah, as I said, that is a little bit of Shipbreaker. Overall, I am very much enjoying it. It's a game that rewards creativity and thinking, and does punish very much the run in and just laser everything approach. It's a game that you could probably spend quite a bit of time on just checking out the designs and the ships. Not in this mode. You would probably play that in the free play mode where you select the type of ship. So for example, you've got this industrial one here, and checking it out at your leisure, whereas the campaign you are on a time limit, so there's that. But obviously they are different modes. The bigger ships, as you can see, they're not that much bigger. I think this is the biggest in the game at the moment, but obviously you've got multiple layers inside the ship, and you can see the complexity of that thing. So I like the fact that there's hazards. You can make things go critically wrong, and it obviously rewards you taking stuff apart and taking your time. In terms of performance, seems to run okay. I did have a couple of problems with, I had some weird graphic glitches where it looked like everything was in shadow. I've also had a couple of crashes early on, but not as of late after the last patch, with some sound and some sound crashes of the game. It just would lock up and when performing certain sound, but that's all minor stuff. Early access, as I said, and it's not happened recently, so overall can't really fault that much. In terms of UI, it's a bit cluttered. Like, in terms of our viewing, we've got loads of stuff all the way around. I think it could be a little bit slicker, a little bit less busy, but hopefully that will be tidied up as well. I mean, it tells us what we need to know, but it's the expense of a lot of screen real estate, especially when you're trying to maneuver inside the ship and that sort of thing. But, you know, it is what it is. I would really like the option to customize controls, but again, that's probably going to happen later on. You can hide the UI, so if you go to our options, and we can say, I've turned off screen share by default, HUD off, and also hide your helmet, so you can do that, and we'll save that, and then you can see, yeah, we've got no UI, which is, well, yeah, it shows you just how much you lose by having that on. But either way, yeah, it is what it is. I am very much looking forward to continuing on and trying the other ships. I want to probably put some more time into the campaign before checking out the bigger ones. But yeah, I think this also would be, it's one of those games that would very much benefit from a co-op mode, which I don't think is planned at all. It's just one of those things that would be very, very nice, but not a criticism, certainly. But yeah, that's a bit of Shipbreaker. If you like what I say, you can check the link out in the description. I'm going to put some more time into it and hopefully not suffer some explosive decompressions, or indeed any explosions of any kind. I'm just wondering where you actually get into this ship. Would it be underneath here? Or on the top? I have no idea. That's something to find out at a later date. Either way, I hope you have enjoyed the video. Comments in the comments. Thanks very much for watching. Take care, and generic partings.